Well, if you're curious about the training program at Schmidt, you're in the right place. I'm Kathy Schmidt. I'm the broker owner of Schmidt Realty Group. And this morning, I want to introduce you to two of my awesome colleagues, Sabrina Bright and Brad Bosker. They're our trainers here. And thanks so much for joining me. I'm just really looking forward to introducing you to people and having you share a little bit about who you are and how you got into training and why you love it so darn much, because I know you do.
We do.
We do.
So Sabrina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been in the business for about 21 years. I'm an associate broker. I'm a mom. I have a wonderful life partner. I'm obsessed with my dog. There's my daughter, my son. Oh, that's not my son. That's my dog. That's Willow, who's near and dear to my heart. And just love the industry. Have really enjoyed it.
Well, I know you really love what you do here, because whenever I'm at the office and there's training going on and you're teaching, I hear so much laughing. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like she's telling jokes again, but it's the stories. It's the way you tell the stories that really, I think, cements the learning. And I always know everybody's having a lot of good fun. And I know that I always tend to pop in and want to stay, and you have to boot me out.
Because, That's okay. Who says we can't have fun and learn at the same time, right?
Totally true. Totally true. So Brad, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know one thing you love to do is to travel. That's for sure.
Yeah, traveling is definitely a big passion. So I've been in real estate I'm just going into my 10th year here. And I am a dad of two. I've got two kids under the age of 5, which keeps me hopping, especially with the fun schedule that real estate can sometimes bring. This love of traveling, we're spilling it out to the kids. We're getting them used to the idea of it as well, and we're really enjoying watching them get to experience that.
That's awesome. And I'm just gonna just celebrate you a little bit here. You were Young Professional of the Year a few years back, so that was a really special night for all of us to celebrate together for sure. Yeah, so. When you're both looking back and thinking about, how you got into this business, can you tell us a little bit about your story? What pulled you both into real estate?
Oh, for me, honestly, I got hooked on real estate really, really young. I made my first real estate investment. I bought my first home when I was 19 years old, and I sold it 2 years later and made a fortune, and basically said then, as God is my witness, I will never rent. And it kind of hooked me on the whole industry. I worked for a builder for many years, actually, and have had a couple of iterations of my career life in the meantime. I'm not 21 anymore, big secret. But it was always in the back of my mind that I thought I would enjoy real estate. And finally, when I hit about 40, I thought it's time to do it, and haven't looked back. I mean, there's days when I've wondered about my sanity, but I haven't looked back.
And Brad, what about you? I know you're entering your 10th year. So think back 10 years ago, and what's a bit about your story?
Well, I think my reasons for being here maybe aren't quite as cut and dry as they are for some people. I had this kind of real estate bug planted in my ear by a friend who does it in a different part of the world. And at the time I was in university and all in on studying computing science. So once I graduated, I worked in that field for a while, and it wasn't so much that I didn't enjoy what I was doing. It was that this other idea had just grown and grown to the point where that was my passion, and that's where I wanted to be. So a bit of a scary leap to take, but obviously very glad I did it and enjoying every minute of this business.
Well, I'm pretty glad you did as well. And I know that all of your colleagues are also, when you're so patient answering their many questions and supporting them. I know for me, I see you both as being just very natural teachers. You both have a passion for it, but I also see you just have natural skills in it and you enjoy it. So that's one of the joys that I have is to watch that. So what got you each into training? Sabrina, let's start with you.
Oh, I guess for me, training has always been a passion of mine, whatever industry I've been at. I was a travel agent for years, and I also worked for a really large international company, and training was one of my responsibilities there. And I guess for me, I've just always sort of had a lot of empathy for people who are new on the job and don't know what they're doing. I know that feeling very well. And I just, I think, if you take a look at, say, something like the retail industry, if anyone ever has a problem with staff in a store, you go into some big box store and you can't get any help, that's a product of training. If someone doesn't know what they're doing. And so I've just always, whatever company or whatever role I've ever been in, I've always gravitated towards the training side. I've always been the person that was asked to, welcome the new person and show them the ropes. And so this was a natural progression here for me as well.
And Brad, what about you?
Yeah, fairly similar. I've been involved in training roles in past jobs and past industries. I spent a few years in carpentry, and similar to Sabrina, I always kind of ended up with the newer people under my belt. And I figured if people can use power tools for the first time, if we can survive that, then we can definitely survive teaching in a place like real estate. And, as I joined this industry, and your role kind of incrementally grows within your brokerage, you take on more leadership, and it evolved into a training role here at the brokerage, a teaching role at the brokerage, and also a teaching role kind of at a wider industry scale as well.
Well, I think one of the things that we all share is a passion for education. I know I've taught at the board as well, and at conferences and things, and I know it energizes all three of us. So we have fun brainstorming new ways to bring the lessons and share and continue to teach beyond our mastery program, which we're going to do another little video about just to walk you through the details of that. But beyond our mastery, we have a lot of mentoring that goes on as well, and coaching and ongoing education. And you're both a really big part of that. So just thank you for that. I feel pretty lucky. Luckiest broker in the city. That's how I feel. So when you're not teaching or working with your own clients, because you're both still very active with your own clients, what do you like to be doing? Just so people get a sense of a little bit who you are. Sabrina, let's start with you.
For me, anyone who knows me knows that I have a real passion for animals and wildlife in particular.
What's in the cage today in that photo? I'm curious.
I'm not sure what I had in the cage that day, but I have had 5 adult skunks in my vehicle at one time. I do, for many years now, I have done light rescue and transport of injured wildlife. So basically that means I'm, fully qualified to rescue something as dangerous as a chickadee or a squirrel, I suppose. But often what happens is the public calls into the wildlife hospital and they need a volunteer to go out and transport. So I try to do that as many times a month as I can. And I actually do that on my day off. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And yeah, I spend a lot of time in the mountains. I often go up there by myself, or I will go up with one of my kids and just spend some time just in nature. And I'm lucky to get out there often, and I'm out there to look at wildlife and such. And I spend a lot of time with my dog and with my guy, and that's kind of my life.
Well, I know animals are a big part of your life, for sure. Very, very big part of your life. But just nature in general, I know, is something you're super drawn to. And Brad, I would say, the same goes for you. Anytime that you get away, I know I hear you talking about heading to the mountains. And with your family now growing, you've had the chance to introduce your kids to that. So when you're not teaching or working with your own clients, what do you love to do?
Well, I think we have a family passion for the outdoors and for travel as well. But, exploring the river valley here in town, exploring the Rocky Mountains as much as we possibly can, exploring mountain ranges all over the world that we've never been to before, finding new places and discovering new things. That's a big part of what we do. And I also have a passion for woodworking, which means right here under my feet right now, I have a little hobby shop, and I wouldn't call myself especially talented, but I do enjoy going down there and kind of turning my brain off and making something every once in a while.
Well, I think one of the things that I really admire and appreciate about both of you is how you intentionally create that life-work balance. And with real estate, sometimes some months and some days are all real estate, and other days you log off completely and it's all just personal life. And you lean on your colleagues also to support you so that your clients are looked after, and you model that, which I think is really great, because one of the things that we all care about, I know, for our agents that we support as a group, is not just that they have a good business, but they have a good life, and they feel positive about getting up in the morning and having time, knowing they're going to have time with their family, knowing they're going to have time to work on their business. And again, it's not that every day is perfectly balanced, but overall, to get that balance. So I think you both model that really, really well. It's an important value for sure. So
it is.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes with me and just allowing me to introduce you to people. And stay tuned. Like I say, we're going to present a little video about our mastery program, what you can expect in that training program. We also do an info session regularly for people who are just really thinking about, is this even something you might want to get into? So we're going to do a little video to tell you what you can expect at that session as well. So watch for those. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks.
Bye.